Welcome back to What's Real. Here with us on the couch in studio is Jeremiah Zagar. He is co-director of 1 in a Million. This is a film sponsored and produced in part by University of Utah Health. It's about a boy named Tyler who, by the age of 10, he was developing completely normal. But when he turned 10, he learned the ability to see, hear, and walk. So, very alarming story. They could not find out what was causing this. They searched his DNA and turned to the University of Utah Health to find answers. Welcome to Park City Television. So this is every parent's worst nightmare. Tell me a little bit more about Tyler and how you came in contact with him and decided to make a film out of this.
Well, Ross and I are both Sundance alumni. We've both had films at the festival. A few, in fact. Ross has one this year called Tigerland. And Geraldine Dreyfus, who's our executive producer, for many of our films and sort of our guardian angel. She has a relationship with the University of Utah, and she suggested that they start telling stories because there were so many amazing stories at the University of Utah. And they reached out to us, Joe and Julie, and we started looking for stories, started exploring all the different facets of what the U of U has. And what they can accomplish and how they're innovating. And in the field of genomics, they're doing things that are unprecedented and really incredible. And they have this program called the Penelope Program, and they work on diagnosing undiagnosed diseases. So diseases that rare and complicated and terrifying diseases that no one can find answers for. And they take DNA, a whole team, and they sort through it. Your DNA, you the undiagnosed, your mother's and your father's, and they match them together. I mean, these are hundreds of thousands and millions of tiny numbers, you know, running across the screen. You can't imagine how many different options and versions, and what they're looking for is a tiny abnormality, something that's different. And when they find that thing, first of all, they have an answer. And second of all, sometimes they can treat it. And in the case of Tyler, they found that answer. And they told us this story. It was their first, it was the Penelope Program's first patient and, you know, first outing as a program, as a group. And what makes the University of Utah so unique is that they can work through in all departments. So the Penelope Program can access all the different departments at the University of Utah. So they're not separate. And so they're able to say, oh, well, this is a problem. How do we solve it? And in Tyler's case, they were able to. They were able to change this young boy's life. And that, you know, meant so much to the mother and so much to Tyler, so much to the entire family. I mean, and so we got to interview August, and we got to film with Tyler and with the whole family and with Dr. Botto, who runs the Penelope Program, and it was an honor and a privilege. Yeah.
Well, I can't even imagine how hard that must have been on the family. I mean, he started showing symptoms at the age of 6, and then by 10, it was just so hard for them, especially when they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, and not to have an answer. I mean, I think that was the hardest thing.
Like nothing. What is happening? We do have a trailer, so let's take a look. This is 1 in a Million.
Tyler was a normal, typical developing child until he was 6. He started having all these symptoms. They told us that it was terminal because of how fast it was progressing.
Tyler came to us, and we were very concerned about him because things were getting worse.
There was that sense of anxiety. What if it was the worst case scenario?
We spent weeks searching for an answer in the quest to find a diagnosis. What we found
It was incredible.
So, Jeremiah, was it difficult watching this story unfold? As a documentary filmmaker, you want to be kind of a fly on the wall, but when it's such an emotionally charged issue, did you find yourself having a hard time just observing it all?
We were so inspired by the Penelope Program, and by August, Tyler's mother, and by Tyler himself, and by Dr. Botto. That, to be honest, I mean, it felt like a privilege to be there. It was a joy and it was a privilege. And you know, I remember speaking with Ross right afterwards and saying, you know, how lucky we are to do this job and how lucky we are to tell these stories. And you know, we want to do more.
What do you hope the audience will take away from Tyler's story?
You know, I think possibility, the possibility of innovation, and especially that it's happening right here in Utah, you know, right here at the U of U. It's like they're at the forefront of discovering new technologies that can make our lives better, you know, the lives of our children and our children's children. And it's something that's, you know, unique to Utah because they have this incredible database because of the population here and because they were able to, you know, find so many participants and get so many samples. You can discover things here in Utah that you can't anywhere else in the world.
Who would have thought? That's incredible. So you've been here at Sundance before with We the Animals.
Yeah.
Compare those two projects.
This one and that one?
Yeah, completely different. Completely different.
Yeah, they're very, very different. I mean, I've had 3 films here in the festival now. I had We the Animals and Captivated in a short film I did. And you know, the short film I did, Ross and I both did these short films about innovation and technology. And mine was called Heart Stop Beating, and his was called Fire with Fire. And they were the litmus test for this film. So Geraldine, when you know, she showed those films to Joe and Julie at the university, and she said, we want to make another film like this. And so, you know, really the petri dish for, you know, this film was Sundance from the very beginning.
Interesting. So it's screening tonight, correct?
Yeah, I believe 4:30 at the Filmmakers Lodge.
Exciting. Have you seen it, the whole entire thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, we edited it at our office, and you know, I've seen it many, many times.
That's true. Sometimes, yeah, it's different for each project, each director. Well, how do you feel about it, screening for the first time?
Oh, I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy that the people at the U of U are proud, you know, and I'm so happy that August and her family and Tyler are proud, you know. I think as a documentary filmmaker, that's, you know, that's tantamount. That's the biggest deal, is when the subjects feel like you've honored their story.
How is Tyler today?
He's doing amazingly well, especially in comparison to how he was doing. And, you know, he's the light of that family's life, and he's a beautiful, beautiful young man. And again, I feel really privileged just to know him.
Well, thank you, Jeremiah, for stopping by Park City Television and bringing this incredible story to life.
My pleasure.
All right. The film is 1 in a Million. It is produced in part by the University of Utah Health, an inspiring, heartwarming story. We're thankful that they came to Park City Television to talk to us more about it. You don't want to miss it. All right, much more coming up right after this quick break.